Miyo just did everything she could to help save her husband-to-be, but it ended miserably. She will now begin a journey as the hero, where she must lead her own path along with the help of others to go help save the man that has been there by her side the entire time. And also, the entire empire will crumble to the ground if she doesn't, unless she wants to be the ruler of it. For this video, we're going to be covering My Happy Marriage Season 2, Episode 23, Yakusoku. For this episode, we're going to see Miyo do the very thing that we've kind of been wanting her to do. That is, unlock her dream site fully. It's a new day where the residuals of hearts being torn apart still linger fresh within Miyo's heart, with Kyoka being taken away after a repeat of Cousin NTR getting the last laugh. A blonde-headed boy appears out of nowhere to help guide Miyo to her next steps. Miyo wakes up to a sleeping Yurie by her side and immediately asks what happened to Kyoka. Hazuki and Takakura rush to her bedside to deliver the pressing situation that they're in. Hazuki embraces Miyo, who bawls out knowing that she had a chance to help prevent Kyoka from being captured. But there is still hope. Takakura informs her that it's likely that Kyoka is being held at the military headquarters, since now she's grouped to control of that part of the military. The anti-grotesquerie unit that went after him got split up after the Navy showed up on Prince Takahito's commands. So this kind of sets us up for where Goto, Hazushi, and some of the other guys are at right now. Apparently scattered. Here we have backstabbing Cousin NTR, but likely a double agent, being praised by Naoshi's closest aide, Hojo. With the intel he provided, Naoshi's group was able to handle the anti-grotesquerie group. He tells Hojo that everything that he's doing is just to help Miyo become the ruler of the new world. Arata denies any acts as friendship to the cult, but Hojo welcomes him to the gifted communion for having the guts to backstab Miyo. More like backblast Kyoka. I'm pretty sure Kyoka had the worst of this. Now, we are at the crux of Miyo's most important development of her character arc. We've seen it pop up time and time again in various ways to hint at what Miyo must eventually face. With Fuyu, Miyo stepped up to the plate to face her future mother-in-law. She was able to save this poor man from
demon possession.
Throughout the entire season, it showed Miyo's progress as a character, but still, she's not able to fully awaken her powers. Even though that she showed that she can be useful against Naoshi, Miyo couldn't do anything herself to help fight against him, while Mukadeyama got shanked and her bestie, Karuko, took a beating. It was Kyoka that ended up saving her that time. With the previous episode, it combines what Miyo lacks most in her inability to fully awaken her powers, especially when she needed it the most. In this very scene, she addresses this very problem of having to rely and be protected by everyone else while she plays damsel in distress. At some point, Miyo has to stand up for herself and be the one to help others for once, like at the end of season 1. With that in mind, Miyo makes a rash decision to escape behind everyone's backs to go rescue Kyoka without a plan. That is where a little spiritual Shikigami boy reappears to introduce himself as a servant of Kyoka to help Miyo along her path. Like Hazuki, the Shikigami boy reassures Miyo of Kyoka's well-being. But damn, Cousin NTR really put 2 holes into our boy. But Kyoka has always been reliable and handles adversity really well. Even though Kyoka can't physically be there for Miyo, he can indirectly help him, and end this entire Naoshi debacle with the help of his Shikigami. What is a journey without accumulating allies that help guide you along the way? The Shikigami boy tells Miyo to go to the Usuba's household to recollect herself and convince allies to help her. And there's the first guy, Takakura, to help guide her on this path. It's almost like a lot of these characters have been planning for this very exact situation for a while. When you have a prince that can literally see the future at random times, no questions needed for Takakura to help Miyo along this super secret path. Quite clearly, this is Miyo's hero's journey, as Takakura once again states that Prince Takahito believes that she will be the one to help save the empire from crumbling. And what do we have here? A name for a little miniature looking Kyoka as Kyo. That is totally not a coincidence at all. Back at military headquarters, Naoshi and Hojo are still planning on using Kyoka to help unlock Miyo's full powers by yeeting him at some point along with the Emperor. Although Miyo is at the start of her rescue mission, having a time crunch makes her situation a little bit more unsettling. As Miyo and Kyo make it to the Usuba household, she spends some more quality time with her Oji-sama. Honestly, the last time she spent time with Yoshiro, good things happened, like unlocking her powers, understanding Sumi's history, and overall, understanding the Usuba lineage. This time, Yoshiro explains to Miyo about the Usui family, and what do you know, a villain having a tragic past? Who would have guessed? Naoshi's parents got yeeted by burglars, and so the Usubas took him in. It's prohibited for ability users to be used on those without it, and it was Naoshi, after witnessing his parents getting murdered, he then got his revenge by slaughtering them back. Due to this incident, the Usubas decided to lock his powers away until he ended up building a romantic relationship with Sumi. That is where the Emperor made the decision himself to get Sumi to marry into the Saimoris, as Tsurugi trading was starting to fall apart. A good villain is one where we can actually kind of empathize with the struggles. I mean, are you not going to destroy the people that just murdered your parents? So you're gonna lock away the abilities that help them stop evil from continuing. And so the Empire and the Usubas want to punish him for that. And also, it looks like he's developed a positive romantic relationship with Sumi, and they want to break that up by the Emperor's wish. So right now, as we perceive it, Naoshi is just trying to bring fairness to the world. Conveniently, it just so happens that Yoshiro was holding onto this book that has been passed down for generations, all about the dream site. There's some annoying missing logic here, but it's whatever. As if we haven't been discussing this all season, Miyo's fully awakened ability has to do with her own mind state. Kyo reads the statement out loud that to unlock all of her abilities, she has to have a strong, unwavering heart. For the entire season, it has always felt like Miyo is dealing with some kind of anxiety or fear, while at the same time showing that she does have what it takes to be courageous in certain moments. But one of those kind of anxieties, like Miyo's lack of wanting to be physical with Kyoka, can be seen as one of these kind of fears that she isn't willing to fully open herself up to just yet. And so Miyo has no problem sleeping next to Kyoka's Shikigami. It's late at night and Miyo ponders herself to sleep about why Naoshi is doing all of this, just to face another dream site revelation, meeting her mother, who reveals more about Naoshi's backstory. As children, Sumi is seen scolding Naoshi for getting into a fight and hurting others. She tells him about the wonderful law of karma, that what you dish out, you'll definitely get back. And so Sumi sucks its blood! If a girl sucked your blood out of nowhere, that's a whole next level of commitment I did not see. And one where Naoshi probably fell in love with her. For Sumi, someone that cares about him, to help him when he's hurt. I mean, who wouldn't fall in love, especially at that age? That is when the next scene addresses the loneliness of being in the Suba that isn't allowed to make friends, just like Arata's backstory. It's this theme of the Usubas being forced to live a certain way, living a particular role, being outcasts. If Sumi was to become the dream site maiden, she would ask the Emperor to relieve the Usubas of this lonely rule that outcasts them from the rest of society. This ties directly to why Naoshi is so insistent on making Miyo the ruler in a more fair and just world. Unfortunately, Sumi only has the telepathy ability, meaning the person that has that ability cannot be the dream site maiden. However, Sumi made the mistake of making a promise with Naoshi that instead of him being the sheath to help Sumi create this new better world, he will become the sword, or more like the mind bedazzler, to help create this new world. Unfortunately for Naoshi, once again, Sumi felt like there was no other choice but to save her family, and to do that, she must marry into the Saimori family, leaving the responsibility alone to Naoshi to help the Usubas live better lives. But that is where the selfishness of Naoshi wanting to be with Sumi warps his understanding of creating this better, more peaceful world as he stands outside Sumi's funeral. This is likely where Naoshi concocted this whole thing with Sumi's offspring to help create and usher in this new fair and just world, because a person with the dream sight ability can literally change the whole landscape of the entire empire. Miyo asks her mother for advice about what she should do next, but it's pretty obvious what she should do next to stop Naoshi. Sumi is mute and doesn't say anything, as all of a sudden a path opens up for her upstairs, with all the previous maidens of dream sight appearing before her, as Miyo walks upstairs to find Kyoka looking at the beauty of the cherry blossom trees standing right next to her. And all of a sudden, Miyo wakes back up right next to the cherry blossom tree. She has now chosen a path and feels resolute with what steps she should take next. As she wakes up outside of the cherry blossom tree, Yoshiro finds Miyo standing there with their powers fully awakened. This is where I kinda have a slight knock to some of these shoujo stories. Sometimes explanations are a little bit too abstract, but in this case there is enough context to fill in the gaps to get a decent understanding of what just happened. There was all the symbolism of the dream sight maidens, the stairs, Kyoka, the cherry blossoms. So Miyo actually walking up those stairs and seeing Kyoka in the cherry blossoms is her literally deciding what she should do next and having that confidence behind what she would do next. How I see it though, there isn't any really big revelation here. Miyo fully unlocking her powers with just Sumi showing Naoshi's backstory, it just doesn't feel as satisfying as I thought it should be. Miyo doesn't really have many options. She has to stop Naoshi no matter what and save Kyoka, unless she really does want to be the ruler of the new world, which it literally doesn't make sense for her to do for her character. So Naoshi is essentially trying to carry out his vision of what he thinks Sumi's vision of this new better world would be. So Miyo has this better insight into how Naoshi thinks and kind of the logic that he's going for. So when they do eventually cross paths, maybe she'll be able to talk him out of these things. But this moment itself, it just didn't make as much sense to me for that to be kind of like this epic awakening for herself. For Miyo to unlock her powers this way, it just doesn't feel as earned. We might have ourselves a hot girl situation here. And what I mean by that is, when you are attractive 10 out of 10, things just easily come to you. But when you're more like a 5 out of 10, you have to do some extra things, like sucking blood. Overall, my biggest criticism is that it just didn't feel like that great of a payoff, and it just didn't feel as earned. On the flip side, if I was to make the argument against myself, Miyo has already had the powers. Like how it was stated earlier with the book, it really was just a state of mind. Throughout the entire season, we've seen Miyo show her growth and be praised for how much that she's grown up. Even in this episode, Yoshiro found a more defined Miyo. So in reality, she didn't really need to do anything, only to feel resolute in the path that she chooses. And it's that confidence is what all she needed to feel and know for her to open up something that she already has. And so the ending of this episode was just that realization and that commitment to what she's going to choose right now. I can accept this logic, but it just wasn't as satisfying to watch and see that play out. So overall, the episode itself, it wasn't bad by any means. It's kind of just what is reminiscent of what happened in season 1. She kind of just shows up and then she got powers. With Naoshi's backstory, most of the motivations for why he's doing what he's doing, most of the context was already there for us to assume why he's doing what he's doing. And so by this point, we already knew that Naoshi was trying to help the Usuba family. This was all for the Usubas. So now this is connected directly to Sumi's dream. And this is why he is doing what he's doing in his warped way. It was her dream to try to uplift this restriction on the Asubas. So that backstory gives Miyo the understanding of how she wants to talk to Naoshi. So yeah guys, I thought that this episode was an okay episode. I felt like there should have been something more, but it's fine. I feel like there is more to come for Miyo's character and a lot more payoffs happening very soon. So let me know what you guys thought about this episode. I would love to know. And do me a favor guys, hit the like button if you're ready to beat up Naoshi. And subscribe to the channel. If you guys haven't already, check out my blog at otakusen.com. And I appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.